come out and said on July 4th, he will be engaging with the Gen Zs on X space. Given the demands of the Gen Zs, and they seem to be centering around good governance, employment opportunities, use the resources the way it's required, cut on excesses, kill corruption, it seems that this generation is in different terms of tone, in terms of approach, even the expectations that they have from what the political class always engages on when it comes to dialogue. If you look at what we heard in the form of the Grand Coalition government in the aftermath of the ugly 2007-2008 skirmishes, if you look at the latest concluded the Bomas talks, the bipartisan talks between the Kenya Kwanza and Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition, we scarcely heard from these young people. We have these beautiful ideas as to how to take the country forward. Do you think this dialogue between President William Ruto with the Gen Zs on X space will spice up a way forward and put the country to the path of prosperity?
First of all, on this matter, we need to put it in the right context. It's a progressive discussion. It was triggered by the Finance Bill 2024. But underneath, before the trigger, there were so many issues that Kenyans were talking about regarding the manner in which they want their country to go or to be governed. And so the bill was only a trigger. And there's been a progressive way of dealing with these issues. Number one, Kenyans started with Reject Finance Bill 2024.
Yes.
The government came and said, let's amend, and they tried to amend to see whether Kenyans will agree, but Kenyans said, no, we reject it in totality. So that almost happened. I'm saying almost happened because only a bill can cancel a bill. Let's not fool one another that a statement or a letter from the president can cancel a bill. So this is my opinion. Finance Bill 2024 is still active. Yeah, it's my opinion. I mean, you can have your own, but in my opinion, that bill is still active until the day I will see a bill like the way is it a leader of minority, Opio Wandai, or somebody who has written a bill to nullify the Finance Bill 2025. Until I see that in Parliament and it's done and dusted, that's when I'll say now we don't have Finance Bill 2025. But in my opinion, that thing is still on. I don't think it's really gone. And so the government tried to, reject finance. Maybe it's honest on that. And so then it went ahead and said, like, now that we have the finance bill out of the way, what next? What is the next course of action? And Kenyans began saying, no, the next course of action is, number one, President William Ruto should implement the NADCO report. And number two, constitute IEBC. Number three, dissolve parliament. Number four, call for fresh elections. And so this other discussion of how do we get, what do we do in the next 1 year? What do we do? I mean, where do we get the money? How do we end corruption? I think this is a discussion that, according to my understanding, the Gen Zs were saying should begin, yes, but the course of action right now is these four things. Implement the NADCO report, constitution of IEBC, dissolving of parliament, and call for fresh elections. And then during this time is when we are going to talk about corruption. We are going to talk about austerity measures. They are going now to decide how they want their country to run.
Yes.
And so I think this is, in my own understanding, this is the way things are going. But you see, the government won't just, President William Ruto said, dissolving parliament is akin to anarchy. You can't go that direction. And so that already tells you that he has put a brake on that demand. President William Ruto resigning, I think that's a dream. No. It may come to pass, but I think it's close to impossible.
Yes.
Firing CSS is almost also close to impossibility. Because
even he said on Sunday he can't fire CSS when there is no evidence.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying it's close to impossibility. And then the things that he has said, the first casualty was his wife. That's the first lady, Rachel
Yes.
Ruto, who was fired from her office. The second one was Dorcas.
Pastor Dorcas.
Yeah, who was fired as the second person. And the CSS, I don't know much about it, whether they have been taking salary home or I don't know. That has been kept a secret.
Yes.
And so we are waiting to see the implementation of that. So that is the proposal from the president's side. So there are two parties talking here, and you might think that whatever the president is talking about is what the Kenyans are talking about, and you might think that whatever Kenyans are talking about is what the president is talking about. But these people are talking two different things.
Yes.
What these Gen Zs are saying is they want the four things that I mentioned. The president is saying no, that is akin to anarchy. I won't go that direction. I'll go with the austerity measures. So let's talk about how we implement the austerity measures. The finish corruption, fire Rachel Ruto, fire Dorcas Rigathi. CSS will not be
fired.
It
will not be
appointed. Then it throws the spanner in the fire by saying, I'm going to borrow 1 trillion shillings. And then the whole discussion just disappears, like, no, we are not having this anymore. And then we go back to square one.
Yes.
So there's no discussion anymore. You're going to borrow what?
1 trillion and 1 we are trillion? Just tunataka kutoka kwa hizo madeni.
Exactly.
Na wewe unaenda borrow madeni zingine. And you don't see anything constructive you are doing for the country.
Exactly. And so the question is, you wanted an additional 346 billion in terms of taxes.
Yes.
Now that you still have I'm sure the 2023 Finance Act is still in play. Why would you borrow 1 trillion when all you wanted was 346 billion from taxes?
Yes.
Where is the 1 trillion?
Where is the other 600 and something billion going?
Why do you want all this money? So you see, the whole discussion is being confused by the government itself.
Yes.
The government keeps on throwing spanners, confusing the Gen Zs in their course of action. And I think that's where we are right now. It seems like the two parties are not understanding what they're talking about.
Yes.
But in my opinion, I think if the president would do more of action than talking, he shouldn't go for these interviews and stuff and all this nonsense. Because I'm 100% sure President William Ruto knows everything, he understands everything. Anytime he comes out to act as if he does not know what is going on, I don't think he's being honest. He knows exactly that an 8-year-old child was shot 8 times. He knows that abductions have been taking place.
Yes.
He knows everything because it's almost treason for you to deny the president information.
Yes.
You can't deny him information. You can't lie to him.
Yes.
Okay? It's crazy. You can't lie to the president. You can't. And so this whole idea of perhaps maybe the president doesn't know what is going on in the country, maybe the president is out of touch with the people, those are just stories. Those are just stories.
Yes.
I do believe the president can be honest enough and say, hey, listen, Kenyans, let's talk about this issue. You say that you want, implementation of NADCO report, you want
the constitutional IEBC.
You want me to dissolve parliament, and you want fresh elections. Out of these 4 demands, I have this proposal. What do you think about this? What if you give me, allow me to sort this mess out by doing A, B, C, D, and begin to do it? If you say you are going to fire first lady, second lady,
yes,
do it. Just fire.
Fire.
If you're saying that you're getting rid of your cabinet, just call for a press conference and say, from today, I don't have a cabinet. Kibaki did it.
Yes.
Kibaki, when people voted no, it was the constitution. I think Raila led, that's when ODM was born. Yeah. He fired Kina Raila Odinga, they were ministers then. He fired all of them and brought in fresh people. If the president would wake up and say, I'm firing the Itumas, I'm firing the cabinet secretaries, yes, I'm firing all this, the communication team, because he knows when he says that communication
team, his communication team has failed him.
He knows it. He knows it. He knows it. In fact, the allegations that President William Ruto is the one who advises his advisors on how to advise him. So perhaps maybe it's not even the problem with the advisors. It's the problem with the president himself.
Yes.
He cannot take in any advice. Because you can't tell me the president doesn't know what's going on in this country. He knows.
He knows.
He hears what people are talking
Yes.
about. And so he just either chooses to ignore, or perhaps maybe he has pertinent assignments from I don't know where, or people he wants to please, or he has to fulfill his end of bargain with some form of contracts he has.
Maybe the
That is why he has to
president
force this.
don't want to fire his cabinet secretaries because are his political allies. Anaogopa 2027 anaweza enda nyumbani.
But trust you me, with this kind of madness, 2027 inaweza kuwa mbali. Yeah, 2027 inaweza kuwa mbali yeye kwenda home. And let me tell you, in 2027, if president is not careful, there's a chance, 80% chances that he'll be a one-term president. If he's not careful, if he's going to allow this to keep going.
Yes.
And he said something that I respect him over. He said, these are signs of a growing Kenya. And he's right.
Yes.
It's a sign of a growing Kenya. When people have conflicts, that's a sign of growth. People want to go to another level. And there's a mind shift right now in Kenya. There's a mind shift. There's a new thinking that has come in that, hey, listen, we can't be doing things the same way and expecting different results.
Yes.
We need to change the way we do things. We don't need to change the constitution. We just need to change the way we implement this constitution. Can we have different people with different mindsets to do the job?
Yes.
You see, where former President Uhuru Kenyatta succeeded is by him scouting for the best administrators. They are kina Matiangis, the Magohas. They had their own weaknesses, but they were the best minds when it comes to administration.
Yes.
And because former President Uhuru Kenyatta loved soft life, okay, so he surrounded himself with these brilliant intellectuals, not politicians.
Yes.
President William Ruto's cabinet is full of politicians.
Yes.
Not even ex-politicians.
But you know, I'm wondering,
politicians.
Professor Kindiki was a very good professor of law.
No,
but
he's a
since
politician.
he entered into government, I don't know what happened.
No, once you become a politician, remain a politician. If you put politicians in administrative work and governance, you've lost it. And that's what President William Ruto did. He decided to reward his political allies, you know, and give them jobs and stuff like that. And that's where he went wrong. It's time for him to look for technocrats, to look for administrators, people who have experience in governance and administration, to help him put these ministries in order, to help him, you know, take for example the NHIF and shift thing. Okay? One wonders, why is there even a need for the shift? What is it that NHIF has failed to do that shift is going to do?
Lack of proper communication. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Who is behind? Who is the middle person? Which insurance company is trying to, you know, they usually say, if you don't understand something, follow the money. Yeah, just follow the money. Just follow the money trail. You'll understand why you're seeing the policies and laws and all these conflicts coming from. Right now, we're in a situation where, as President William Ruto and his government is trying to have a conversation with the Gen Zs and these youths, we have people who might take advantage of the chaos.
Yes.
Politicians especially.
Yes.
Who wanted to be in State House. And they might take advantage of this whole thing. They take advantage of the movement, take advantage, like I had Babu
telling Raila
Odinga, this is the time to go to. You see,
you should not even go to AU.
That kind of nonsense is now what brings in the danger. So when you see the president bringing in the KDF and the military, that is because of such